Welcome to our channel. So now, Cliff, I wanted to get your perspective on this past Sunday's championship weekend. What did you think about the games?
Yeah, so Bill, as I had mentioned to you on the quick call we just had, unfortunately, we had gone out last night, and we went to a place where the game was on, but I wasn't really 100% focused on the first game, which was Philly 49ers, and I probably would have gotten a little bit closer to the TV where we were had it not been a blowout. The game, it looked like it was out of hand by halftime. So to me, I just lost interest when it looked like the game was over. And then hearing that Purdy was out, I kind of lost interest in that game. Then we got home. We had people over, so I had the game on without the volume on, so I wasn't fully engaged. But I'm going to give you. Let me go to the first game. I'm sorry. Let me go to the KC Cincy game first. Then we'll go back to the other game. So KC Cincy. Here's what I thought. Obviously, from what I saw, it was a tight. Well, obviously, it was a tight game. It was a tight game. It was a type of game that I expected. Right. This is what I was thinking throughout that whole game. Here we are. 20-20 game in the fourth quarter. I saw Burrow, like, to me, he's a great quarterback, right? But I saw him throw up these jump balls. I saw him throw two bad picks. I saw another ball that should have been picked. So there were three throws that, two were picked, one should have been picked. The touchdown to Higgins was a jump ball. Was it a great pass? I guess it was a touchdown, but it really was a jump ball. You're throwing to a guy that's Higgins has to be 6'5", I guess, 6'4", 6'5". He is a tall guy. He just went up. He went up vertically and he got a high ball.
Kind of like Randy Moss type. When you throw jump balls to him.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks that had a connection with a tall receiver that threw those type of passes. So am I saying bad pass? No, I'm not saying that. I guess the point I'm trying to make is he throws two picks. He throws a ball that should have been picked. He throws that jump ball. He threw a couple other jump balls that got swatted away. I'm not trying to knock him, but all I kept thinking was if my guy, Daniel Jones, did that in a playoff game, he would be murdered. He would be murdered. They would destroy him. Oh, he can't play in the big game.
They would have burnt down his house. You kidding me?
Yeah, he threw two picks. He threw another ball that should have been picked. He threw that one jump ball. He got lucky. They'll make up a story to support.
That's New York media for you.
Exactly. So right, wrong, or indifferent. That's what I was thinking. I watched these games. This is how I watch football. I watch football saying, if that was Daniel Jones, what would they say? Another play that was in my mind when Mahomes dropped the ball. I don't know what he did when he went back. He
just came out of his hand. It looked like
out of his hand. He lost the ball.
Yeah,
and that was a big turnover because
they
lost the ball. It was 20-20. I forget how much time was on the clock, but that was That was under 5 minutes left in the game. If Cincinnati marches down the field and they score and they win, it's is he a GOAT or a hero, right? At that point, Mahomes, right? Now, I kept thinking, wow, if Daniel Jones did that and the Giants lost the game, they'd be calling for him to be let go and released. And this is not the guy in the big spot. He loses the ball. So football is a funny game that way, right? Again, both great quarterbacks. Mahomes, I'm not saying anything bad about him. He's a great quarterback. Burrow is a great quarterback. But again, that's how I view these plays. I view these plays, and all I think of is, how come they murder my guy every time he does something wrong? He had such a great season, right? He did throw a pick in the playoffs, which was that play Jenkins kind of cut the route, which was really kudos to Jenkins. That was a great play. I didn't kill Daniel Jones on that play. He threw an interception. But Burrow throws two last night. He threw another one that should have been picked. He threw that jump ball to Higgins. That was a touchdown. He threw a couple other jump balls that was swatted away. Did he have a great game? No. And guess what? They lost. Did Mahomes have a great game? I guess they won the game, but guess what? That ball that he fumbled at that critical time of the game, they easily could have lost that game because of that play. That's my thought on that game. Let's get your input, and then we can go back to the other game.
Well, the input on the Cincy and Kansas City game, that game could have went either way, obviously. But my point is that the way the game was going, I was convinced that Kansas City was going to pull it out. Plus, I think it was in the second quarter. Cincinnati already gave up 4 sacks, so they're getting pressure on them. So the point is that everything you said about Joe Burrow, I think the problem was when you do things like that, the offensive line was not protecting him. You get a little bit antsy, and then mistakes happen. That's why they always say pressure the quarterback. The bottom line is, to me, the better team won. I thought Kansas City, they playing in Kansas City. I mean, it was a close game, but I still think Kansas City was going to pull it out because let's face it, Patrick Mahomes does not have the weapons Joe Burrow does. But the one thing that Kansas City does have is Patrick Mahomes. He's a phenomenal talent. To me, hands down, MVP. I don't know how you can question that. So that's my perspective on that game. So it came as no surprise. Now, the other game that I really want to talk about is the 49ers in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
Now
let me
that,
give you, I'm sorry, but let me give you my last comment on the Cincy the KC game. I'll be honest with you. I know we did a video and I said I don't know who's going to win this game. Leading up to the game, I somehow convinced myself that Cincy was going to win that game. I thought yesterday going into the game, I had a feeling that Cincy was going to win. I just did. I don't know why. And the one thing that I think the key to the game for them was Joe Mixon. And I don't know what he ended up with stat wise, but you know, I they contained him pretty well because I thought that if they were able to establish a running game, that Burrow was going to pick them apart, and that didn't happen.
yeah,
So,
nice running game opens up everything. That's all
yeah,
I can
so,
say.
so I don't know what Mixon's final numbers were because I really wasn't. I must admit I wasn't 100% focused on the game, and I do want to see a replay because you know, I wanted to see that game in its entirety. But I saw most of the plays. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I didn't watch the game. I watched it with no volume, and I wasn't 100% engaged. But I really had that feeling that Cincy was going to win leading into the game. So yeah, so you wanted to give me comments about the Eagle 49er game. Go
Well,
ahead.
yeah, you know, it's so funny because that one first touchdown to me was it was a fourth and third play. It appeared the guy made a great play. And then after the second play came off, they couldn't challenge it at that point, obviously. So what happened was they showed him like, oh my God, they got away with one. And they say, well, they probably didn't have time to look at it because teams will rush because I guess they couldn't get the proper footage on that. But however, the one thing I noticed being a Bills fan, as you can tell with my t-shirt on, the thing is, I remember watching a Bills game where the team was was not even thinking of challenging the Bills or something. What happened was you could tell by the body language of the receiver that play didn't really happen. That's exactly what happened. I saw the guy going like this, like almost like hurried up because he knew he didn't catch the ball.
The receiver,
Yeah, the
yeah,
receiver. I think his last name was Smith. I think that's who it was.
Devontae Smith.
Huh?
Devontae
Yeah,
Smith.
yeah. I believe that. I believe that's who did it. Now that's one. The other thing was on a 4th and 6, they forced Philadelphia to punt because they were doing a pretty good job containing them for the most part. And then that roughing the punter that killed it. That gave up points right then and there. And then all the sloppiness of defensive holding. You know, you're talking about one was on a third down. I don't know what the down is, but it was a third down where they would have had to punt, holding 5 yards, automatic first down. So I saw the instant replay. I'm like, well, if the guy didn't hold him, there's a chances that AJ Brown probably would have caught the ball. So sometimes you have to take chances like that. But they had an awful lot of other type of holding calls. I'm like, guys, you guys are self-destructing. My father always used to tell me about, especially about my Bills, they're shooting themselves in the foot. That being said, I still think the better team won was Philadelphia. So I'm not going to say, oh, if the 49ers would have done this and that, they would have won the game. Probably not.
Well,
But I
I
don't
mean,
think it would have been that bad of a lopsided game either.
yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I wasn't fully engaged in that game. I was less engaged in that game than the other game. But the storyline there is the injuries, right? I mean, your starting quarterback gets hurt, your backup gets hurt. I mean, come on, your chances. I mean, they were very much handicapped once Purdy went out, and that was, I think it was their 5th offensive snap when he got injured, right? I mean, he was.
It was early in the game because I saw his thing go back and it looked like his elbow got hurt.
Yeah, he hurt his elbow, but
Yeah.
it was the 5th offensive snap of the game. It was, I believe it was like with 7 minutes left in the first quarter or whatever it was.
That I really can't remember. But then you
it
put
was
Josh
early.
Johnson, and the problem is you put him in. He's a journeyman. He hasn't played a whole lot of football in all the years he's played. And then it almost looked like he was going to get hurt. Do you know who the other option quarterback would have been?
McCaffrey, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how bad. So the bottom line is you got to go by the roster. It's part of the game. The better team won the game. That's the best way
I
to put
can't
it.
argue with you there, but you know, it sucks that 49ers.
They had to go out that way.
Yeah, they actually played a game. Realistically, they played the game without their quarterback. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
The guy that got you there. Now, granted, they got there with a strong defense, right? That was a big piece.
Well,
a big
yeah.
part of why they were
But he
there.
played
So,
very nicely down the stretch
he
too.
did. He had his QBR was his quarterback rating was phenomenal, since he took over that starting position, right? So he was a big reason why they were in that spot, right? So
Well, yeah.
you lose your quarterback, that's not easy to overcome. Right? That's not easy to overcome, believe me, you know that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that was unfortunately, there's no buts in this in football, right? So we don't know what would have happened if he didn't get there.
Exactly.
Right. But I'm with you. I think that Eagles were a better team. They're playing at home. It would have been tough for them to beat the Eagles in Philly. And obviously the Eagles dominated them, but would they have dominated them the same way if Purdy didn't get injured? Probably not. Do they still win the game? I guess, but we'll never know that, right? So it is what it is now.
Well, yeah.
Bill, we have the matchup that the NFL probably wanted, right?
Oh, it's
Philly, KC. I think that's
it's gonna be a great
end of the day.
matchup, a great game.
Yeah, that's the matchup that the NFL wanted.
Yeah.
Holmes and Hurts, right?
Yeah.
I think that is the best matchup that we could probably have hoped for. At least the NFL could have hoped for.
Yeah.
I think the second best matchup would have been Cincy Philly, but KC Philly is a better matchup from a rating standpoint. From a storyline standpoint, you got Kelsey, that angle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that part. That'll be
play that
interesting,
one up.
huh?
Believe me.
Either way, one of them's going to win a Super Bowl this year. That's going to be interesting.
Right. That's a great prediction, Bill. You're right on it with that one.
I should be a betting man on that one.
Yeah. I'll bet
who's going to win the Super Bowl this year? My son.
Right. So yeah, I mean, now we have 2 weeks.
Yeah.
To wait for this, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll do some videos on what our predictions are going to be for the Super Bowl. We got
definitely no question about that.
Plenty of time to think about that. I mean,
yeah.
let's do an early call.
Yeah.
Right now, if I look at these two teams, that now Mahomes has 2 weeks to kind of rehabilitate and get better. So you'll have
Hurts too. Remember, Hurts hurt his shoulder too.
Hurts.
I stumbled over my word, you idiot.
No, I'm saying Hurts hurt his shoulder.
Oh, okay. I thought you'd be sarcastic.
That wasn't intended there, that pun?
No. I'm just saying he hurt his shoulder.
Right.
It'll give it more time to heal, right?
Yeah. So I don't think his shoulder's an issue.
Yeah, it didn't look like it to me, anyways.
But obviously Mahomes' ankle is an issue. But he'll have 2 weeks to get treatment and all that stuff, and get shot up or whatever they do.
Yeah.
And I think he won't be 100% in 2 weeks, but he'll be ready to go. Right? He'll definitely be ready to go. Now that said, I think if I had to bet the game right now, if somebody said you got to put up, $100,000 bet right now and you can't change it, I don't even know what the line is. I'm putting my money on Philly.
Me, Mahomes.
Huh?
Patrick Mahomes all day.
You would go with KC?
With Mahomes.
Yeah. Okay. So, I just think Philly is a better team all around. They have, they're just well rounded. Good defense, great offense. Look, that game yesterday, Philly, Cincy could have went either way. I mean, listen, they were one play away from losing that game.
Exactly.
Philly, I mean, they played okay. Hurts, when Jalen Hurts got hurt, which was 4 games left in the season, I think it was, right? Because he missed 2. Then he came back. He came back for the Giant game, and they obviously Giants in a game had their third string is in probably, right? They didn't have their starters in. Since that game, which they won pretty easily, they didn't win that game pretty easily, but they were on cruise control. They dominated last week, right? They dominated yesterday, so they have all the momentum. Hurts is close to I don't know, I don't want to put a percentage on it, but he looks healthy. The injury doesn't look
Yeah.
like it's a problem. They're firing at all cylinders. It looks like they're going into the game with, you know, on a high note. KC, they just squeaked by this week.
Yeah.
Mahomes is again not 100%. I just think I think they're beatable. And they're facing a pretty tough team, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's wrap this up then.
All
And
right.
I guess we'll talk to you later. And thanks everybody for stopping by.
Yeah, and if you're watching this and you're not a subscriber, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Help the Bill White Experience channel. By the way, Bill White Experience. Tell all your fans how you came up with that name. What's behind the name, the Bill White
The
Experience?
Bill White Experience, it was my friend's idea.
Oh, okay, because it sounds very professional, right?
Okay.
And you listen, I sent over some Dunkin' Donuts to all your staff members in the Bill White Experience. So make sure you let them know that's from me, okay?
Okay, take it easy.
All right, I'll talk to you later.